Hello, I'm Mary, and with my colleague Claire, I run the Usdaw Royal Literary Fund Right Now project. And that is aiming to capture as many of your stories and experiences of living and working through the pandemic as possible. And you may have already done Claire's lovely I Come From exercise. And this is another little short writing exercise to try and get you going with your writing and to try and get you getting those words on the page. Now, all of us, whether we're professional writers or not, sometimes struggle to get our thoughts down our arm into the hand that's holding our pens. And so what this exercise is about, and what all these films are about, is a way of helping overcome that difficulty. It doesn't matter if you are typing into your phone or onto a keyboard or pen and paper or chisel and stone. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you want, whatever means you want to use to write with, absolutely fine. It doesn't matter how much you write. You might write a paragraph during this session. You might write a whole page. You might not write very much at all. It doesn't matter. It's just a way of getting started. Writing always starts with thinking. So if you just think about things, that is the start of writing. So whatever happens, whatever is produced either mentally or physically on the page or screen at the end of this session is fine. What I'm going to do is we're going to be working on a typical working day, like a life in the day of in this session. And we're going to be thinking about the senses, the 5 senses in particular. And I'm going to share with you a document which has just got some quotations from well-known writers about the senses. Now, some of you will be like me and you wear glasses, so your eyesight is a little bit less than perfect. And you might also have slightly impaired hearing, as I do as well. But that's still how you see and experience the world. And every second, there are millions of messages going around our bodies, through our nerves, into our senses, that we feel and see and hear and taste and touch. And that's how we experience the world. And sometimes that's positive, sometimes that's negative, sometimes it's a sort of bittersweet. But everything we experience is through our 5 senses. So I'm just going to share a document with you. If I can find it, there we are. Okay, I'm just going to scroll up. And I hope you can see that. So this is what Nan Shepherd, she was a nature writer, she wrote about sight. She said, "How can I number the worlds to which the eye gives me entry? The world of light, of colour, of shape, of shadow, of mathematical precision in the snowflake, the ice formation, the quartz crystal, the patterns of stamen and petal, of rhythm in the fluid curve and plunging line of the mountain faces." So what she's saying is, it's really hard. It's really hard to describe the amazing things in front of your eyes. And even things that aren't so necessarily amazing, it's still really hard to write about them and describe them adequately. So that's what today is going to be working on. Rochelle E. Goodrich, an American writer, said this of sound: "When I say I love the silence, I'm not being entirely truthful. What I actually love are the abundant, delicate sounds that amplify when I'm silent. These curious creaks, mutters, and hums compel my imagination." And that's something a lot of people experienced in early lockdown, was they suddenly became aware of sounds around them because everything was quite quiet, less traffic, less everything. And our ears seem to switch back on. And so a lot of us in our workplaces have got lots of background noise that becomes almost a white noise to us. And we're going to try and draw those out today a bit in this session and try and pick them apart a little. Vladimir Nabokov, Russian writer who wrote the novel Lolita, which you might know, said of smell that nothing revives the past so completely as a smell that was once associated with it. And I don't know about you, but I think that's really true. There are some smells that will take me back to my grandmother's house in 1976, and other smells that take me a bit longer to locate them, but I usually get there. And I think the same is true of taste. I think there are tastes that can transport us elsewhere, and they remind us of things. They're very, very powerful. Margaret Atwood, who won the Booker Prize last year, she wrote a novel called The Handmaid's Tale, which you may have read or seen the drama on television. She said of touch that it comes before sight, before speech. It's the first language and the last, and it always tells the truth. And that's true, isn't it? If you think about as a child is born, the idea of skin on skin, our sense of touch being absolutely primary in our human experience. So those writers are all saying how powerful our senses are, how evocative, and how difficult it is to do them justice when we're writing. Now, if they found them difficult, then we can find them difficult too, and that's just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing, and I'd like you to get a pen and paper, or if you've got a laptop or you've got a keyboard in front of you, that's absolutely fine. Or as I say, if you're typing into a phone, doesn't matter where you're writing. And what I do is I've divided my page up into, I hope you can see it okay, into time zones, because my working day roughly is 8 or 9 till roughly 5 or 6. So I've just put 9, 11, 1, 3, 5. If you do a night shift, of course, you put the first time, just the sort of significant time. So I usually start about 9, I usually have a coffee about 11, snack at 1 for lunch, and so on. Okay, so you just put your rough timings of your working day, whatever your working day looks like, whatever your shift pattern is. And a little tip is when you're writing with a focus, because I've got a very poor memory and I can get distracted easily, I just put little notes across the top. So I've put SSSTT, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, just so I remember that's what my focus is. But what we're aiming to do is write about our working days using as many of the senses as possible, many of the ones that are relevant. Taste for me only comes when I drink coffee or when I have my lunch. It's not something that features massively in my working day. For some of you, that will be different. And for some of you, you might fantasize about what you're going to have for your tea, and that starts early in the day. Everybody's different, and that's fine. Okay, so we're going to start writing in a minute. I'm going to be writing for about 6 or 7 minutes. And as I say, doesn't matter how much or how little you do write. Okay, so we're thinking about our working day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you through asking questions. I want you to put your mind into your workspace. You might have more than one place that you work, but choose one for now. You might be there right now, or you might be at home thinking about it. I'd like you to write down what it's like. What does it look like, that space? What's there? My workspace is my office in my home, my spare bedroom. And if you could see more of it, you'd notice there were papers all over the floor, a very much ignored yoga mat, bottles of water, dirty cups that will eventually go downstairs. But what does your workspace look like? Is it a warehouse? Are you in an aisle? Are you at a till? Are you in an office? What does it look like? Describe it to me. Try and pick out as many details as possible. What can you see? Perhaps there are people in that space, that you share that workspace with other people. What are they wearing? Are they wearing a uniform? Are they in high visibility vests? Are they in suits? Are they in casual clothes? Are they on Zoom with you? Where are they? And what do they look like? What are you actually doing at work right now? Are you processing orders? Are you driving? If you are, please stop writing. Are you organizing? Are you delivering a meeting? Are you serving customers? Are you on dispatch? What are you doing? What's your job? As you're looking around that space, how does it make you feel? Has it changed, that work space, that working day? Has it changed since early March? Maybe it's changed for the better. Maybe it's changed not for the better. Maybe there's more pressure. Or maybe it's simplified things. Maybe things have been prioritized. How does that workspace make you feel? What I'd like you to do is add in any sounds. What can you hear? Do you like what you hear? Do you feel stressed by what you hear or comforted? If you could control the noise, what would you listen to? What would you have as your background, your work playlist? If I'm going too quickly, just press pause. You can come back to it. So trying to build this picture of what your workplace looks like and what you can hear. And as you move through your working day or your shift, are there any changes to those sights and those sounds? Do you move through different places? If so, what do they look like? Have the sounds changed at all? Now you're coming up to a break. It might be just a short break, it might be a longer break, but you'll need to have something to eat, I would think. So what are you going to eat? How are you going to have a break? What are you going to taste? Maybe it's coffee, maybe it's a cigarette, but what does that taste feel like in your mouth? Any smells that are different? If you're moving around a workplace or throughout a very big building, are the smells different? Are they pleasant? Are they noticeably different? Can you make some distinction between them? So does it smell all of disinfectant, or does it smell all of chips cooking? What are the smells that you can sense? And finally, touch. It's such a strange thing now because we're not allowed to touch, social distancing. So, is there any sense of touch in your work? Are you picking up things? Or has that had to change completely because of coronavirus? And what I'd like you to just add on at the end is if you think about your working day, going in, you have those breaks, you have those moments of pause in your working day. How does your working day finish, or your shift? How does it finish? How do you feel? That might be as close to touch as we can have at the moment because of restrictions. So, how do you feel about as you leave work? Now, you can keep writing for as long as you like. and you can add in things, and you can change things, and you can alter things. And that's what happens with the writing process. The first time you put things down, it's just getting things down. It's starting to mine for your thoughts and for your expressions. And if you were to just carry on writing a bit more, you'll find that different thoughts start to emerge. So we're going to stop very soon. But what I'd like you to do is just go back to what you wrote and think to yourself, I wrote that. When we started this 15 minutes ago, I had a blank page. Now I've got something. Now, if you wanted, you could keep it as it is. You could take a photograph of it and email it to us, email it to your union rep, your learning rep, who will then forward it to us. If you would like to have a sort of extended workshop working on your writing, then please contact your union learning rep and they'll get in touch with us and we can deliver workshops. But for now, you've just written about a day in your working life. Well done. That's brilliant. I hope you enjoyed it. And keep an eye out because we'll be posting more videos very, very soon. Okay. But for now, well done and happy writing. Bye now.